Hello guys, welcome to Open Techno. Today we're going to look at a product that is essential in any office where people still work with paper. It's a document scanner, one of the most complete you can find. A document scanner that, as you'll see in this video, will make the whole process of scanning books, scanning documents, scanning IDs, driver's licenses much easier. It will greatly simplify everything and will do it super quickly. This is an updated version of an item from a previous video. It's the Cezur Aura Pro, a document scanner that, as you can see, I already have set up here in the back. I've been testing it quite a bit to scan books, sheet music and identification documents, and it works perfectly. This scanner isn't the typical one that's built into a printer where you feed in sheets of paper and it scans them properly. Instead, it's a device that's really made for scanning. For example, books where we can't remove the pages and we also can't put them in a regular copier, and above all, as you'll see, we also have the option to make copies afterwards. Even with a foot pedal, so you can just turn the pages and press scan. And it does it instantly. So for example, earlier I scanned about 10 pages in 20 or 30 seconds and I already had them converted to PDF. But I won't go on and on. Let's get straight to the unboxing. Let's do the unboxing of the Cezur Aura Pro. And the first thing we find in the box are several design awards it has won in different years. This unboxing will be straightforward as everything is neatly arranged. The first thing we find is all the instruction materials, which explain what software we need to install to use the device. Next, we also get the lighting accessory, which works with these two lamps so that we have as little glare as possible when scanning documents. We'll leave it here for now, and later we'll see how to install it on a separator. Over here on the side, we have the power adapter and also the foot accessory, which lets you make photocopies or scans using a foot pedal. Much faster. Then on this side, we have a mat, or rather a base for the table where we will place the documents. And it's going to greatly reduce the glare caused by the surface we place it on. It's a mat kind of made of faux leather and black in color. We'll leave it here for now and install it in a moment. And finally, the crown jewel, which is the document scanner itself. As you can see, we have the base with a rubber strip that will make it stick much better to the surface and not move easily. Then we're going to have a surface with a controller, I suppose, for the lighting. We'll see how it works later, some LEDs, some information, and let's see what it's like now. You see, it looks a lot like a desk lamp. Honestly, it could be the typical Xiaomi lamp. And here, we can already see on the back that it comes with the camera, the lighting, and the laser sensors. In this part here, I guess it's to detect all the folds in the pages and, in the end, make document scanning much more accurate. You'll see that the installation is very easy because just by pushing the camera from the back, it will unfold. It's like a desk lamp, and now we have the document scanner right here. An interesting thing is that the power adapter comes with adapters for several countries. I understand this one is for America, this one for England and Ireland, and then we have the one for the European Union with this other type here. This would be the foot pedal, which we basically put on the floor. Here it has this padding, so it's very soft and doesn't scratch the floor of our house at all. And as you can see, it's simply a pedal that will connect to the scanner via USB. And what it's going to do is basically speed up the whole process of scanning documents through this pedal that we'll have accessible with our foot. About the USB cable, I have to criticize Cezur a bit because it's already 2025. And it still comes with a USB-C for our computer, for which I'll need an adapter to connect it to my Mac. On the other hand, to connect to the device, this doesn't bother me much since it's not so standard anymore, but it would be nice if it was. USB-C comes with this type of USB that I don't remember if it was called USB-B, but anyway, it's the typical one for printers, scanners and so on, but hey, it could also come in USB-C. Lastly, we have these two accessories you see here, which are basically to put on each finger. They come with a small groove and are used so that when we're scanning a book, we can turn the pages and hold them in place while they're being scanned with these plastic accessories here. Basically, they have a small rubber part here that helps grip the page well. And when we place it on the book, we can keep it in place without moving it while we're scanning it. That's it. Later we'll see how this works, but it's super useful for scanning unbound books like those found in bookstores where we can't remove the pages. Now that we've seen the unboxing, I'm going to tell you about some technical features of this document scanner. First, the lens it has. It's a 14 megapixel lens that allows you to scan at a resolution of up to 4320 by 3240 pixels. This allows us to scan documents up to A3 size, meaning, for example, a book with 2 pages open together, or a typical A3 sized card which is much larger. It has a portable and foldable design, which makes it very easy to handle, move around on the desk, store without taking up much space, or even transport to another office. Or if we want to take it from the office to home, we can do it more or less easily because it comes with that carrying case you saw earlier. And well, you should also know that it works as a desk lamp, although maybe that's not the most appropriate use for this type of device due to its size. But since it's available if it can help us in a difficult situation, then that's even better. I'll mainly emphasize how it works. You'll see, it's incredibly fast. It allows us to scan documents at a rate of almost 2 pages every 2 seconds. Let's use the pedal simply by stepping on it. When we want it to take the picture, it recognizes them and saves them as images, and then we can process them all in a row. This way we don't have to use our hands to press scan on the computer. And also we can focus on these accessories here, which, as you've seen, will help us hold the pages. And so, through artificial intelligence, it recognizes that this doesn't need to appear in the image and removes it automatically without the need for post-processing. Things I'd like to highlight are all the possibilities for scanning a variety of different documents. Loose pages, books with double pages, separated pages, or even clippings that we are interested in. In addition, these photos are later transferred to the computer and turned into images that are processed using CZUR's own software. A software that includes optical character recognition and is able to turn a book into a Word document in an instant. In addition, it recognizes 180 languages and also allows searches within the text we have scanned. To achieve better quality, it comes with a faux leather mat for the table, which you've seen. It's like the typical table cover you can get from IKEA, for example. And it also comes with an accessory lamp in case we want to provide lighting, not just from above, but maybe something more professional from an angle. With this lamp that we have on the back, which is simply an accessory that we can attach and detach magnetically at any time. We have compatibility for both Windows and Mac, and I found it interesting that they even support Windows XP, so we can use this device on very old computers. And that allows us to scan books, documents, magazines, notes, illustrations, and even, as you'll see later, enable a mode where we can make real-time annotations on whatever we're scanning. Unlike other similar devices, I want to highlight that this one, above all, does a really good job. The issue of flattening books, meaning when we have a book that curves because of the shape of the pages, well, this scanner is able to flatten it and give the impression that we've made a completely flat photocopy, as well as being able to scan books without any contact with the pages. But to see this much better, let's go straight to the demo video I recorded for you. Let's see how this Cezur Aura Pro works. First of all, we can simply use it as a desk lamp since it's already taking up space on our table. So if we start reading, for example, a book, we can turn it on and adjust its brightness to read comfortably. Of course, after that, the most important thing is to connect it to the computer and give it a try. It will switch to scanning mode, and in addition to already having the lighting, we will have it connected to the computer to be able to scan documents. In this case, as you can see here, I brought several books. For example, this is one I'm reading about how to make money in the stock market. And with this book, I want to show you several things. First, let's open it and you'll see that it's quite a dense book. And of course, when we let it go, you see that it goes back to its original place. Okay then, how would we hold it so that our fingers don't show like this, holding the pages? Well, for that we're going to use the accessories I showed you earlier. So the first thing we're going to do is open the scanner app, which we'll look at a bit later to see what it's for, and select the scan option. Our device has already been detected here. Let's center this as you can see. And here, also, I'm going to do something, which is to add some text that I want to delete later. Let's write delete. I'm not going to mark this too much because I want to erase it later with an eraser. But anyway, just so you can see how it works. So now, what do we do to scan it without our fingers showing? Well, let's straighten it up. At first, we take these finger accessories, stretch out the pages, and now with the pedal, as I mentioned before, we have a pedal that works as a switch to scan, so we just press it once. And as you can see, it already takes pictures of the page we're on. If we now go to the main menu in the app, we'll be able to select these two photos and, for example, play with its color mode. I really like the automatic one since it gives us this improvement which tends to add a bit more contrast. And you'll see that it turns out super well scanned, plus with a resolution that is pretty good, practically like the original. Now what about this? I told you before that we would have something handwritten. Well, we have the option to erase the handwritten notes. Artificial intelligence will detect it and remove it from the image. As you just saw, it completely erased it. We hit confirm and now we have our second photo without any kind of handwritten text. As you can see, I did it super well. However, if you like this kind of style, you can set it to color, black and white or grayscale. Well, in different ways, but I like the automatic one the most. Also, we can play a little with the quality. Hey, if we think, for example, that it has low quality, well, we can give it a little more definition or we can give it a little more contrast. However, I think it's great and just the way he does it. By default, it has a super good resolution. Then, in the app, you will have several options. For example, if you want to rescan a specific image. If you want, for example, to crop, to cut out some of the parts. Or simply, for example, you say, hey, I don't want this little square here, I want it a little more in this corner. I'm going to rearrange this other one here, I'm going to put it here, and this one here I'm going to put, well, on the left. Well, just so you know, you can rearrange everything however you like and then you would export it and it would be perfectly done. Let's do a test of this. For example, I want to convert these two pages to PDF, I just click Export PDF. With the parameters it tells me, which are generally going to be pretty good, and as you can see, it has exported it perfectly for us. However, do you see that the size of the images has changed a little bit? This is basically because we would need to standardize it and say, hey, we want all the images to be in an A4 vertical style. We click confirm and we would have it standardized, all the pages at the same size. Let's scan again, and in this case, we're just going to say that now we have a single image. We're going to place it in the center and you'll see that it automatically recognizes it with that orange border. One thing I want to mention is that we can change the lighting to this lighting accessory I mentioned earlier. Well, hey, if for whatever reason it gives us better lighting for what we want, then great, we do it with this other lighting device. Simply, we just trigger it with our foot, it takes the picture for us, and we would have this sheet, which could be a perfectly scanned page, ready to print and make as many copies as we want. As you can see, in an extremely professional manner. Let's make it a little harder, let's put in a sheet of music, let's scan it and see how it does, because this sheet of music actually has quite a few complicated things. First of all, it has a lot of annotations, so let's see if it manages to get them right, which from what it looks like it does. I mean, everything is super well documented, cross-checked. Honestly, the score looks spectacular. And the last thing I wanted to show you, after all, it's the possibility to use the foot to make photocopies quickly. That is, for example, now we make a photocopy, we already have this. We turn the page, press the foot again, and make 2 more photocopies. We turn the page, press the foot, and make 2 more photocopies. We turn another page, press the foot again, and make another photocopy. Again, we press the foot and make another photocopy. As you have seen, in just a moment, we have scanned 5 full pages, which would be 10 images. Now we can process them all at once. I simply keep all the ones I just made, change the color, tell it to auto-enhance them, and that's it. We have them all ready. Now, simply with them selected, we export them to a PDF, and as you have seen, in about 30 seconds, we already have 10 photocopies saved here on the computer in PDF format. Finally, let's see what other options this application allows us. We are going to open a book in the middle. We're going to select the visual presenter option here, and you'll see that what this will allow us to do is this. Hey, so if we're doing a live session, then simply, for example, imagine we're talking about this book, okay? But we want to do a screenshot, then we just click here on freeze. And now we could, for example, draw a rectangle and say, hey, we're talking about this section here. Everything that's said in this sentence here is very important. We also want to highlight the page we're on, and as you can see, we can interact in real time with the image we have here, which is currently frozen. We unfreeze it, and as you can see, well, the annotations would remain the same. Right now it wouldn't make sense, so we could delete it, but this is useful for recording, for example, a real-time video, like when giving a class or explaining something about some notes. Finally, I have scanned these last two pages, and what I want to show you is how the process of converting these pages to text works. Well, you'll see, we just click here on optical character recognition, we select it. The language in Spanish, we want to export it to a Word document, and we click confirm. As you can see, the tasks are already running here, and well, I don't have Word installed. But as you have seen, it has already transferred the text we had in the book to a Word document. Well, for me, it opened it with TextEdit, this Apple one, which is a bit basic. But anyway, just so you understand that this would transfer it to Word or text without any problem. In the same way, if we convert it to PDF, we could also select the text and copy and paste it somewhere else. Or, well, anywhere we want. But you should know that through artificial intelligence, it allows this optical character recognition processing and transferring the contents from an image to text. Also, it's important to know that on the top part of the scanner, we're going to have a small screen where we can see a preview of what we're scanning and the number of pages we've scanned so far. This way, we don't have to rely on the laptop all the time. Having seen the Aura Pro scanner from CZUR, all that's left is to discuss the price. It's pricey, but it enables many possibilities. But I think that if you have a professional office, if you work scanning documents, you might find yourself needing to do several scans in a row and needing them quickly. This is a product you can't do without, and I think you'll get your money's worth very soon. However, as I said, it's not cheap. It costs about 290 euros, depending on when you find it and what discount you get. It might even drop to around 260 or so, approximately. If you plan on using it frequently, it's worth the investment. Because in the end, it gives us very high quality images. Most importantly, in record time using that pedal, that allows us to scan 2 pages in 2 seconds. That's all. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. If you liked the video, don't forget to leave a like, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.